Hello there and welcome to Banned Book Talk. My name is Colleen. I'm a Youth Services Librarian with the Corpus Christi Public Libraries, and this program is recommended for teens ages 12 and up. Now, the materials we discuss may not always be suitable for everyone, so some parental guidance is recommended, however censorship is not. With all that out of the way, let's go ahead and move on to today's topic. Today, I'm going to talk to you about Laura Dean Keeps Breaking Up With Me by Mariko Tamaki and illustrated by Rosemary Vallee O'Connell. If you remember Mariko Tamaki from my last video on This One Summer, that graphic novel was also by her. So if you want to pause this one and go watch that one if you haven't, you can do that. If not, that's perfectly fine. So just a refresher, Mariko Tamaki was born on December 22nd in 1975 in Toronto, Canada. She is of Japanese Canadian and Jewish Canadian descent. And she has written and co-authored several other comic books, graphic novels, and books since the early 2000s. She is very vocal and outspoken about the issues regarding bans and challenges on books, particularly more modern books, and especially the attack that happens on graphic novels. They tend to have a disproportionate amount of bans and challenges against them. She writes stories that she wishes had existed when she was younger that would have appealed to her more, coming from a minority background. And her themes tend to center on the struggles that youths face, and particularly teenagers, and things that have to do with struggles with family issues, with maintaining friendships and relationships. And she even gets into the issues of mental illness and social themes, particularly those that affect the LGBTQIA+ community. Rosemary Vallee O'Connell was born on October 28, 1994 in Minneapolis, Minnesota. She is an American author and cartoonist, and she got her start in her career in 2015 when she drew the cover art for a Steven Universe graphic novel titled Steven Universe Too Cool for School. Most of her work has been through DC Comics and Boom Studios, and she is still relatively new to the field, but her artwork has gotten pretty widespread and a lot of attention, so we will hopefully be seeing a lot more of her. So the reason I am discussing this particular book today is because, unlike the other books that I've discussed that had track records of being banned and challenged, this one actually does not, that I could find. However, it was challenged here in Corpus Christi. A school copy of this book was found by a member of the community who then complained to the school about having a book that portrays a lesbian relationship, and accused it of being full of lesbian sex scenes and pornography and nudity, when it's not. I've looked through the book myself just to make sure, and there's nothing in there that if this couple were straight, there's nothing that would have been controversial about their relationship or the images depicted within this book. So it was clearly just because of the lesbian relationship. So the school pulled the book according to their guidelines. They took it off their shelf to send it into review. However, this was back in March of 2020, so it was right before spring break, and well, we all know what happened during spring break. And most students and teachers did not go back to school after spring break, and they had much bigger concerns about the health of the students and things to worry about with the pandemic going on. So unfortunately, this book kind of was a victim of that and got lost in bureaucracy because a decision was never able to be made on it. There were changes in staffing, and no one really knows where the copy of this book is now. So it never even got to review on whether it was actually going to be banned or relocated or anything. So if there's any updates on that I find, I will inform you all. But so far, that is the only challenge that I personally know of that I was able to find. Part of that, I think, has to do with the publication date of this book. It was published in May of 2019, so right before everyone was getting ready for summer. And then we only had one semester, like a semester and a half of school before the pandemic struck, and everyone had much bigger concerns to worry about. So this book kind of slipped through the cracks of the people that would ban or challenge it, yet it was still found by someone here in Corpus. So that's why I kind of wanted to highlight this one, even though it doesn't have the extensive track record of the older books that I covered, or it hasn't been on the top 10 list like this one Summer was. Laura Dean Keeps Breaking Up With Me is the story of Frederica Riley, who goes by Freddie, and her relationship with title, name, Laura Dean. Now, Freddie loves Laura Dean, and all she wants is for Laura Dean to love her as much as she does. But the problem is that they have a very on-again, off-again relationship that tends to be completely controlled by Laura Dean, and Laura Dean is often thoughtless and even mean, and often cheating on Freddie. And Freddie's friends have an issue with this, of course, and they can't understand why she keeps going back to Laura Dean. So, feeling very hopeless and alone, Freddie seeks the help of a local mystic. The mysterious seek her, and she isn't thrilled with the advice that she receives. But something's got to give. Freddie's heart is breaking in slow motion, and she may be about to lose her very best friend, as well as her last shred of self-respect. Fortunately for Freddie, there are new friends in the insight of advice columnist Anna Weiss to help her through being a teenager in love. So, this book highlights very much on building healthy relationships as a teenager, the difference between how long-lasting friendship relationships can be and how often very short-term romantic relationships can be in the teenage life, and valuing those long-term friendships over the short-term romantic relationships. And also the fact that sometimes, even though you love a person, they're just not the right person for you, and you have to go your own separate ways in order for both of you to actually be happy in the end. It might hurt in the moment, but in the long run, it is healthier and better for the both of you. So it has a very good lesson on relationships, especially romantic relationships for teenagers, which is another reason why I wanted to highlight it. Remember that not everyone is going to like every book, and just because you don't like a book doesn't mean that no one else ever will. Likewise, not everyone's going to like your favorite book either. You don't have to like every book that you read, and you don't have to finish every book that you start. If you can't get through it, put it down, walk away. At least you gave it a try, but never deny someone else the chance to read and enjoy a book, especially a book that might help them through a situation that they're going through. So if you want to check out this book, you can go to cctexas.com/library and see if it is available in the library closest to you. If not, you can put it on hold and have it sent over. And also check out Hoopla and Access 360 and see what other banned books or similar books that they have that you might be interested in. Until next time, thank you for watching. Bye!